Hi, I'm Sarah Subiata Bennett. One thing we all share in common is pain. Every life carries it somewhere, but it's not the circumstance that defines us, it's how we respond. When tragedy strikes, grief takes on its own timetable. In the end, we can either let it consume us, or we can rise, lean on faith greater than ourselves, and keep moving forward. That resilience is what today's guests embody. Julia Hoffman founded Hoffman Collaborative Therapy after her own struggles inspired her to help others. And our producer, Shanon, turned the devastating loss of her nephew, Ethan, who drowned, into her why, becoming a certified ISR instructor to give children life-saving water survival skills. Their stories matter. For parents, knowledge is power. For anyone walking through hardship, I hope this episode offers strength, perspective, and reminder that light does return. For full transparency, part of this episode was actually filmed in June and originally set to air in July. After the Central Texas floods, we waited out of respect for grieving families. But for those who lost loved ones, the ache remains. And Julia shares guidance for parents helping kids navigate the loss of a friend, especially now that school is back in session. Thank you for being here. So Julia, I'm grateful to you for being here today. I've seen you on some interviews recently, and I'm really grateful that you're part of our community.
Oh,
because
thank you, Sarah.
No, because it's well, yes, I'm very grateful because we've recently experienced a hell of a lot of tragedy and heartache. And so if you would just tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me where you're from, where you were raised, and what brings you into the profession that you're now living. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for having me.
Of course.
Yeah. It's I'll make it succinct. I'm from San Jose. From the Bay
Kelly.
Area.
Okay. It's beautiful.
And so the first half of my life was there. Then I went up to Washington State. I went to Gonzaga University.
Okay.
So spent some time there, and then 15 years in Seattle. And I met my kid's dad, my then husband in Seattle.
Yes,
His
yes.
family was from there. So big part of my life was there. And then in 2017, we moved to Dallas. He's a high school football coach. So we moved to Dallas for his dream to be at a Texas football school.
Oh, yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing.
It's a thing.
And had my my youngest, my now 7-year-old baby.
Oh, my gosh.
And how did I come to this profession? And then I'll go to present day, because present day is very different than when I had my last. I think, like a lot of people, I had some interesting things as a child. Parents were sick. My father was had spastic paraplegia. My mom had pretty severe mental health, in and out of psychiatric hospitals. And I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed that my family really supported therapy. So first time I went to therapy was in first grade, and I went to see Sister Dolores at my Catholic school, parochial school, because I was afraid of dying. And I remember going in there and talking to her, and every stage there was some kind of support, whether inside my family or outside of my family. And I just grew to love that dynamic, that really hard conversation, that everything is better when you can do that, when you can be open with someone and talk about the hard things. And I've talked about the hard things a lot, and now I love sitting with people and walking them through their hard times.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm so grateful that you chose that profession. I did not grow up in a family that embraced therapy at all. I don't think that we really could have afforded it either way, but it was, it's expensive.
It's expensive.
Yeah. And my mother was kind of like a sole provider as a teacher, and my father had a hard time holding a job, but either way, it was a dysfunctional household. But so many of the beautiful people in our community have experienced a lot of tragedy themselves recently. As I came back into town from traveling, so we live in Highland Park, and there's just ribbons everywhere. And I have ribbons in front of our home for the Harbor Girls because my kids went to school with them. And Annie taught my kids. She is the one who lost the two girls. They were holding hands with the rosaries in hand, and so I've been praying for her and RJ since everything happened. It's been really horrible. And then it was also horrible because I wasn't in town. We were in Europe for a long period of time. And so we would go to church, pray, but the whole community here was grieving. And so I didn't get a chance to go to the funeral, even though you can watch it on YouTube. It's just different, right? It's different. And so now we're in the moments leading up to returning to school. And my daughter had cheerleading practice, or has been having cheerleading practice, and one of her friends who was life flighted out of there with a helicopter, I said, how is she doing? And she's like, Mommy, I don't even know what to say. And so what say you to a bunch of these young kids who are returning to school with a lot of the families that have suffered such loss, and then some who are safe, right, who didn't pass away? How do you recommend that the kids approach these conversations?
Yeah. For the kids, I'm just so sorry. That's just real close. Because my kids did not know anyone.
Yeah.
And we don't have any, we did not lose anyone in our school or our school district.
Yeah.
The best thing is simply your presence.
Yeah. That's what I believe.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could, and it sounds like a cliche. I wish I could have if I had a system or an acronym or something that would be helpful with talking to kids. But it really is just our presence as parents, and being strong enough to handle the questions. Because what you were talking about is, we're talking to them about this, and we're looking at our babies, and it, all parents. I mean, I really think all parents that experience this, live here, just heard about it. It's traumatic, obviously, nowhere near the families directly affected.
No,
but the trauma of watching it from afar and being really helpless and feeling, because we don't know, but just seeing their pain, understanding what that pain would feel like to us. So being there for them, being able to handle any question, and telling them the truth as much as they're asking for it.
Yeah. And even last night, because normally I'll jot some questions, and I couldn't even bring myself to do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it because I just thought, this is just going to be a conversation that is from the heart. This conversation with you is different from many of the others that I've had because it is so painful. And I just wanted to be authentic, raw, not filtered.
Oh, you're talking about questions for our conversation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because they were, they were, because they often ask, oh, who are you interviewing? What is going on? Blah, blah, blah. Just conversationally, and I was telling them, oh, I'm going to be speaking with this lady, and her name is Julie Hoffman. And, I told her about you, or told the twins about you? And I said, yeah. And we're talking about processing really difficult stuff. And I pray that, God gives me the right things to discuss, because I cannot sit here and write questions. And again, I've never sat with anyone and not done that before, only because
Where do you even
start?
start?
It's so much.
The not having an answer or resolution is just difficult.
Yeah.
And then when people are grieving, like, I don't know if you've experienced this with Monty or even your kids, but everybody grieves differently. So
Oh gosh, yes.
some people want to talk about it, some people don't.
Yep.
And
I'm an external processor.
yeah. And
My husband is not.
is it? Yeah. And but always are good. But when you're grieving something as a couple, like these families are in pain,
I know.
It's complicated. It's complicated for people to feel like it's just complicated.
It is.
The thing that I like about talking about grief, and with kids especially, is the sitting in the uncertainty, is the no answer.
Yeah.
And when I work with families that are going through a divorce, and usually they want to have it all mapped out first.
Yeah.
Where everybody's living, and I understand that. What do we say if they ask us this? What do we say? And the reality is, they often don't have those answers yet. But there's chaos and pain and lots going on in the home. So kids don't need the answers. Kids need the connection. Kids need to know that they can walk up to you and say, Mommy, I'm scared about you and Daddy divorcing, or that we have to move. Mom, why did my friend have to die? I'm scared that I'm going to die. And you just repeat what they say.
Yep.
You're
Allow them to feel heard.
Afraid of dying.
Yep.
I hear that. I understand that. Without any kind of answer. And that's all they want. They just want to make sure that they can be, at a core level, that they can be heard.
Yep.
So that's just like, that's my answer for hard conversations.
Yeah.
Say what they say, and then if they ask you something and you know the answer and it's appropriate for their age, share it. And if you don't, it's a really good question. I don't have the answer yet. I don't have that answer. But I'm glad you asked me, and when I do know, I will tell you. And then specifically for grief, that's just such a good and hard question. Tell me what you're, and then tell me what you'll miss about Molly. What was your favorite thing about Molly? And then just getting to talk about the person, which is, for a lot of people, that's hard.
Yeah.
Not as much for the grieving, the people that have lost, because that's what they have. They want to say their child's name. They want to remember, but people are afraid of stirring up things. My oldest said it wasn't like her graduation or something. So it was like an event. And I saw one of her friend's moms who had recently lost her mom, and she had cared for her for a long time. And I went up and, kind of put my arm and gave her a hug and said, I heard about your mom. I'm so sorry. How are you doing today? And she started crying. And so my kiddo reminded me of that, like, that I make people cry everywhere I go. When I made her cry at my graduation and how uncomfortable she was, And I said, I did not. I probably didn't say it this eloquently. I said, I did not make her cry. I invited her to share her sadness with me.
Yep.
There's because people never are not thinking about it or feeling their grief. They're not. So when you bring it up, it's the analogy, the phrase I love is they're always holding it, and when you ask them a question, bring it up, tell them it's safe to share with you. They get to put it down. They get to have some help holding it.
Yep.
Which I think is just a beautiful image.
It is a beautiful image. I've never heard of that. Yeah. I've done a lot of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a beautiful image. Yeah. And
because it's really lonely.
It is. It is. And just like this morning, it was the first time I had texted Annie since it happened, because I've been praying and praying and praying. And this morning in my morning prayers, it felt really heavy on my heart to just, today's the day.
Yeah.
Text her. And so
Were
I
you
did.
Scared?
Yeah.
Nervous? Yeah.
Nervous.
Yeah.
It was nervous. It was are these words even words that I should send someone?
Absolutely.
Right? But then I thought, God, take these words and carry them and just place them on her heart. So I kind of prayed exactly how I had hoped that, right? But yeah, it was my first time. And so.
How did you feel after you?
Good. Because I kind of gave it to God.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, okay, please help here, because this pain is so great. It's so great. And I'm such an empath. I wish I wasn't, because I walk around everywhere with a lot of walls, only because I know that I'm an empath. I know that I have a huge heart. And for a large part of my life, that was tough, especially as a kid. And so now I'm trying
how much you got hurt?
Yes, yes. Because but then I'm also hot-headed. I'm also very passionate. And, my husband, he has told me, you are the most difficult woman I've ever been with, but you are worth all of it.
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
a compliment. I think that is a compliment.
It is. And he means it as a compliment, because I do know that, I love big and intensely. I'm an intense person in almost everything that I do. I'm type A. I'm very, so that's a lot for many people.
Yeah.
But thankfully he is as well. He can be a handful, but we're both that in our own way. And it's a beautiful dance now that we finally are able to understand each other.
Oh.
Right? Understand each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how, in your practice, what age group of people do you primarily work with? Do you work with teens, kids, adults only?
I work with adults.
Got you.
Yeah, I work with adults. I feel like I work with kids because I know the kids.
Yes.
We talk about the kids.
Of course.
A lot. How are they going to tell them this? How are they going to tell them this hard thing? And because I've had the range of ages, it's just helpful for me to be able to think about it for the different stages that they're in. But it's mostly adults. Right now I'm working with a beautiful couple who lost their child to suicide.
Yeah.
And
suicide. Oh,
and
God.
There is just being with them.
Yep.
Is the work. I did a little newspaper article, and he was asking me about what's my process and what's my modality, and and I don't have one for those kind of situations. I don't have one. I try to go in with nothing, but a lot of pausing, a lot of listening, a lot of questions, and just letting them say whatever they need to say. And then to see, like some of the people that because I started I have a master's in 2009 when I was pregnant with my firstborn, but I started my practice in 2020 during the pandemic. But just to see, I get pictures of people on their first blended family vacation with like the mom and the dad and their new partners.
Oh yeah.
And the kids.
Yeah.
And it is such a privilege.
Yeah.
To see the arc,
Healing.
from where they started and where they are now. And it's not that everything is perfect or they're completely happy but they do have more confidence, I think, in themselves as parents. And so that's a gift that I can give children, because I really, really believe with every part of my being, I really believe that divorce does not hurt children. It is not the divorce.
Wow.
It is the conflict between the parents.
Yeah.
So people think we're getting divorced. That's the thing. We've already done the damage. And that's not, they have not done the damage. They have brought something to their children that's very difficult, and that's a big change, and is going to be hard. But there's nothing inherently bad about that. What's bad is the fighting back and forth, the saying negative things about their other parent.
Yeah, I hate when parents do that.
Who they're 50% or
of course,
if they biologically share 50%
Yes.
of. It's the egos.
Yeah.
It's the not being able to, somebody else comes into the family, another partner comes into the family, not letting that person love your child,
Yeah.
or wanting to jeopardize it or feeling threatened by it. And I understand all that. I really understand it. But we just don't, there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of tools. I see it like we have premarital counseling and we have baby classes, we have college, help getting into college and school, and all these different ways to be prepared for this next stage of life. And then marriage counseling, decide to get a divorce, right? That's that at that point, other than hiring attorneys, I don't see a lot of what's supposed to happen from that deciding to divorce to whatever's next, which is co-parenting. There's not a lot of, we don't understand how to do it. And I think that's because people are not like, I never want to wave a flag and, I'm a 50% time mom.
Yeah.
I have my kids half the time. I mean, it feels shameful to a lot of people. So they're not necessarily talking about it or certainly not saying things that are positive about it. And if we can support the parents at the point where they decide to divorce and, mitigate further damage between the two of them and help them reduce their shame and learn how to be with each other in this new way, it makes all the difference for the kids. So with those clients that I work with, that I have more of a system. That I have more of a helping them see the stages.
Sure.
Like, you have to be. It's going to feel cold in the beginning. It's just going to feel cold. You're going to look at that person and say, I don't even know them anymore. They feel so removed. They feel. I hear cold a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
Because you're going from being each other's main person partner.
Yep.
And that's no longer. And how do you can't just go from that to friendship. I don't think co-parents need to be friends at all. I don't
Yeah.
consider my co-parent a friend. I
Yeah.
consider him family.
Yes.
But how do you go from that? You're upset, you're hurt because they're acting this way. So that's why I like to work with both parents, so that, and they call me when they need to between sessions or text me, so that I can talk them down.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
Molly is not. I understand. I understand it's hard. She's hurting too. She's not out to get you. You know, if I can smooth those things over, then when they get to the point where that's not as acute, you know, the feelings aren't as acute, then they're more set up for success.
Yep. I love that. And it's good to know your specialty or understand it better, because I like so many of the tidbits that I saw on your Instagram, even just, you should not text after 7 p.m.
Oh.
And I just thought, yeah, I don't text after 7, you know, and so you think about these things, but
like telling our kids nothing good happens.
Yeah.
I used to say
Exactly.
that. Nothing good happens after midnight.
I know.
Don't.
But it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true, right? Those little isms that I believe are tokens of wisdom. And yeah, I just appreciate your insight on that. Yeah, with that, I know we covered a lot of ground. We covered a lot of ground in this conversation, but I appreciate your time, because the other interviews that I saw you have, I was like, those are so short. And I get it, right? I get it that they're talking about these things, but I'm glad that we had more time today to be able to explore other avenues of life that just paint a bigger picture of who you are. Because I know that counts a lot when people are looking at who to choose to work with in their lives. So I thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your presence and your words.
Thank you.
Why did you choose to do infant swim rescue lessons?
We did ISR with Bear, my oldest, at 7 months.
7 months.
And I just wanted something that would actually save his life in the pool.
That's right.
There's 2 types of swim lessons. You can teach a child to love the water, and you can do a soft introduction into the water, or you can teach them life-saving skills. And I really wanted them to have life-saving skills, especially with being in Texas and our access to pools and rivers and lakes and everything that we're around. It was really important for me. And then my husband was a collegiate swimmer, and so swimming in general is just very important for our family.
Okay, talk to me. Is he always this amicable and easy? Because he is. She's told me stories of some kiddos who are like, they'll be screaming, and it's really hard for the parents to sit and watch a kid be screaming.
Yeah.
But she's like, you have to push through it. It's really important.
4 different boys have gone through it now.
Yeah.
We have had 4 different personalities go through it. And with him, with JD, he's been easy this summer. Last summer, he started out screaming when he did it. He eventually...
And he was how old last summer?
He was 18 months.
Got you.
So a lot. I mean, a year younger.
Little.
He was definitely little. And so he started out screaming and resisting, but not as bad as Hayes did. Hayes was my worst. He was a little terror out there. Ear piercing, screaming. I felt bad for Shanon.
Oh
but gosh. She's like, I don't know how she does it. She just remains her composure.
I know.
And she has so much patience.
I know she
and
does.
she got Hayes to do it, and she's gotten, in last summer, JD ended up happy, greeting her, like excited to come.
I think it's really important to hone in on, let's say, the parents who give this a shot, but then they stop because their kids are screaming and wailing in the pool. Was it difficult for you to hear and watch?
Oh, yes. I mean, especially when we did it with Bear, he was 7 months old, and he's screaming in the pool, and I'm still 7 months postpartum. And with her, I mean, I'm currently 8 weeks postpartum, and like hearing my children scream, especially in the postpartum,
agonizing.
It's really hard.
Horrible.
It is. And somehow you just get through it. I mean, there were times with Bear I had to like walk further away and just kind of separate myself a little bit. With my second born, Samuel, I had to go hide around the corner because he was not happy about it. And seeing me made him scream even more. So I just would hide around the corner, and he would calm down, and it would he'd work better with his instructor at that point.
Got it. I'm really happy that you spoke, and I appreciate you speaking to how difficult it was for you as a mom to push through those difficult times with kiddos. Because I just want to encourage all of our viewers and listeners of this particular episode to push through those difficult times, because this lesson is how long?
It's 6 weeks generally,
6 weeks.
and it's a 10-minute lesson.
10-minute
You can
lesson.
get through 10 minutes.
10 minutes of agony.
Truly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
it's not that bad. I've had really bad screamers, and at the end, seeing how they float and how they can swim and climb out of the pool, I'm especially having a pool in our backyard. There's nothing that can replace that level of. I still keep my eyes on my children in the pool, but they have a love for swimming. They're not scared of swimming.
Yep.
And they love the water. And but they're also safe in the water. They know how to save themselves and
That's
buy
right.
themselves time until
That's right.
in a
As
case of
someone
emergency.
comes. Yep. I just appreciate you speaking to me
Yeah.
about this, because it's something I've always been passionate about. And you're a mom of many kiddos. And so the wisdom, I just can't wait to share it with the rest of our viewers and listeners.
Yeah, it's been. I definitely recommend it to everyone. Anybody who asks me about swim lessons, I always tell them to go ISR. So
Amazing. Do you suggest that they couple it, kind of like you did with ISR and then some EMLR or another follow-up?
Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Just because it's going to negate what Shanon or whatever your ISR instructor is teaching.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
It will actually hurt what they're teaching more.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend it. But,
Okay.
Yeah. And again, we have kids who love the pool. 2 of my boys are on the swim team. So we are still pool lovers.
Super competitive. Well, thank you again.
Yes.
First off, thank you for opening your wonderful home for Shanon to do this life-saving work. And then if you can, just give me some insight as to how you came across ISR altogether.
Well, I didn't do it. My wife came across it.
Oh,
but
she did? Okay.
Yes. But
and that was the same with Leah.
yeah, and it is. Listen, as a father, swimming is one of the true life skills you need to impart to your children. It's
That's
more
right.
important than riding a bicycle.
That's right.
You think about it.
By
Riding a bicycle,
far.
you don't have to live to ride a bicycle. If you live in North Texas, your kids need to know how to swim.
That's right.
And it is absolutely critical. Absolutely critical. I have 7 children.
Yep.
And they all need to be able to swim. Owning a pool, we are super safe.
Yep.
We have locks on the gates.
Yep.
Stuff happens.
And so that's really important, at least for me to hear. So you have a gate that
6 foot
essentially-
high,
and it surrounds a perimeter,
and it's lockable.
and it's lockable. And despite all of that protection in place, you still were committed, or your wife was committed to ensuring that all of your children knew how to swim, which is really important.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about pushing through the discomfort. So are you normally the one here with the kids, or?
My wife, I'm here a lot of the time, and it's the first time it is uncomfortable, but really you have a trained instructor. You know Miss Shanon, who's our instructor. Very good, especially with multiple lessons where you just see that, yeah, she's going to push. And they need to be pushed.
That's
It's
right.
like one of these things in life where, as a parent, you really probably can't do that, but you have a trusted person who's trained that can push, because they need to be pushed.
If you can, talk to me about that.
They're very careful before
course.
they start a lesson. They're like, has your child eaten? Or is your child well? And the first time you're like, whoa, there's a lot of questions. But then you realize it's for their own good. And they're there being pushed, not first lesson. Remember, these lessons are, I think, every day for about 10 minutes.
10 minutes for 6 weeks.
Repetitive. And they get pushed sometimes, and it's uncomfortable. And you see it coming, and you know they're safe. And the end goal, as you can see from these little kids swimming, is to be able to swim, be able to be safe. They're not training them to be world-class swimmers. They're training them to be safe.
I know that whenever my husband and I have parties, or at least I was more mindful of it whenever there were a whole bunch of younger kids that didn't know how to swim. I was somewhat psychotic about saying, okay, you're here, if it's a nanny or whomever, I would say, you have to wear this kind of, it's a little badge that identifies them as being the person that watches the pool during parties and events. And I still am pretty maniacal about instituting that policy at big parties that we have either at our ranch or here at our house in Dallas. But do you all do that for kind of your large group if you're ever entertaining?
We don't, but our pool parties are more small, but I get very uncomfortable when there's a lot of floaties in the pool.
That's right.
And there's kids
Yep.
and there's parents and everyone's very mindful, but this is why you do ISR.
That's
It's
right.
so critical because
exactly right.
one moment and it's gone.
Well, I just appreciate your insight so much, Chris. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I appreciate your thoughts.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, people always think that there's like too soon to start swim lessons. There's
Never.
not. With my son Mac, we started when he was 9 months old. So,
Exactly.
and when she was about that age, Hannah Claire, who's swimming right now,
Yes.
crawled, just took off, crawled, fell right into the water, and
quiet.
it so quiet, and it's
That's
so
what people don't
terrifying.
understand. Yes.
Um,
It's just they go in and you don't hear it because they're so small. They don't make, it's not a big splash. They're not flailing
No.
and waving their hands.
Yeah.
It's silent.
It is, and you think you always have your eyes on all of your kids, but they're fast.
They are fast.
and quick, and so just the fact that she had the skills. I mean, they start with their itty bitty babies of the whole like hit the water and flip over and float, and it was fascinating to see her be able to do that.
So she did it.
So she, yes, she like went in, and you could see that she was trying to come back up,
course.
and you're like, I mean, that would not have happened otherwise without this training. And it's
course.
just such,
Of course.
there's no greater gift for a parent than to know that your kids are safe around the water.
How did you come across ISR? And how did you choose this as your program?
Okay, so I actually have a close friend whose son did drown. He survived. This was
He
years
survived.
ago. He survived. He survived. He's, I think, 15 now, 14,
Yeah.
15 now. So this was years and years ago when he was 3. And so very traumatic situation. And so as she was trying to get him, as he was getting older and swim lessons with him, ISR was where they turned just with him, because it was a traumatic situation. And so I knew, just from that experience, it's like my kids will always do swim lessons. And so through her story and then several others. Hi.
Hello.
I wanted the swim rescue. I wanted
right.
them to, if they fall in, they're going to be able to know what to do
That's right.
to get themselves up and out of the water. It was a no-brainer for me to do ISR. It was like you watch the videos of the kids and you're like, or even when they put them in their clothes and you're like, my kid could never do that. You think that they can't, or that it's terrifying, but it is the most comforting thing ever to get through the cries and the screams. They should be scared of the water.
They should be.
And so that is natural and great. But for them to be taught the skills, the repetition that Shanon does with them, and just the calm patient presence that she is with them in the water, and the other instructors that we've had as well have been great. But she's got a gift.
She
She
really
has a
does.
huge
She really does have a gift.
to
She
work
does.
with them. And so, ISR, I'm a champion for ISR.
I love that. Thank you for
so-
sharing it. And then something I want to end with in this conversation is the fact that you learned vicariously, right? Vis-a-vis someone else experiencing something traumatic.
Yeah.
And I am hoping and praying that our viewers and listeners get their acts together like you have. You're an excellent role model in this respect, so that their children is not, they are not one of the statistics, because
Yeah.
it happens to everyone. Yes, the YMCA focused on underserved communities, the apartment complex, through their Make a Splash program. However, it happens to every demographic. Every family is at risk when they are having children in North Texas. It is because it's so godforsaken hot during the
Yes,
summer.
everybody has a
and it can never be underestimated. The importance is critical. Thank you,
Thank you,
Carrie.
Sarah.
I
Yeah,
appre-
I
and
appreciate
thank
it.
you again for
Yeah.
Rachel, thank you for sitting with me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I thanked Chris and Carrie for opening their home.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I'm just sitting here trying to gather more insight as to how all of you chose ISR, how you came across Shanon,
So when he was just turned 2, going into the summer, my husband's family has a lake house, and I knew we were not going to go unless I knew that he was water safe. I grew up as a competitive swimmer.
I know.
And I grew up in Florida part-time,
Oh,
and
okay.
my parents said, you don't have to love it, but you need to be safe in the water.
Yep.
That's kind of the number one rule my
Yep.
parents had, and that's the rule I'm taking with my children. And as a competitive swimmer, I've heard just horror stories of drowning and people being at parties, and even just little kids not
Happened to me.
knowing. Yes, you
Happened to me.
just never know.
Yes, ma'am.
So my background is I'm an Olympic gold medalist.
That's right.
I'm a 6-time collegiate national champion, and swimming. My kids don't have to swim at that level.
Yep.
They don't need to love it. They don't need to swim competitively, but they need to be safe in the water, and that's very, very important to me.
Yeah, and so because you are this voice of excellence as an Olympic gold medalist in swimming, which very few people are, how did you choose ISR?
I knew at 2 he was not ready to learn how to swim traditional laps.
Yep.
And me being in the water with him at swim lessons, getting used to the water is great, but that's not going to teach him a
Where
life.
did you start if you
So,
didn't start
yeah.
with ISR?
I would start. I started at a local swim school, Emler, and
Okay.
I was in
Yep.
the water with
Yep.
him, which is great. He was
Yep.
getting used to the water. He was comfortable, but it wasn't teaching him a skill of if he falls in, what's
Saving
going to
his
happen.
life.
So going into the summer when he was 2, I just frantically started searching on the internet, ISR, and I reached out to a bunch of different people, and Shannon's the only one who got back to me and was like, hey, I have space for you. It's near your house. And so we started, and I felt really comfortable with what Shannon was doing.
Yep.
And felt comfortable. He felt comfortable doing it, and we came back the next summer, and then the next summer, we're here again. This is our 3rd summer.
I love
So it was literally just Google trying to
Yep.
find it.
Yep.
And now that he has, Shepard, my older one, has the skills of if he falls in, he knows what to do.
Yep.
Now I'm like, okay, now we can move to a traditional swim lesson where
Yep.
he's learning to swim back and forth and learn strokes.
Okay, so right now I'm just like changing a little bit. So he's calling you. He's saying
Yes.
mommy.
But
And Does he
mean-
ever scream?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, up until today, anytime he was on his back, he's been screaming, just
Really?
upset and mad. And so the fact that he's even calm today is this huge shock to me. I think if he sees an audience, then he's showing up.
Maybe that's what it is. He's like, there's people watching and recording.
But
okay.
her patience is next level. I couldn't listen to kids scream and do this.
But that's the thing. And then I heard it from each of the other parents who've sat with me, and they said, yeah, it's uncomfortable to hear, because he was just even saying it quietly, mommy, mommy. But if that was a mommy,
Yeah.
like, have you ever had to end a lesson early?
No, I always defer to her, and she will end it if, she usually ends it on a positive note.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if he's having a really hard lesson but does something positive, then she'll end it early. But no, I've never called it because I trust what she's doing.
Good for you.
And it's really important. I mean, they're going to be, if they fall in, they're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to be scared. So they need to be in that headspace.
That's right, they do.
As much as a 2-year-old can be. But
do.
No, it's been a challenging experience
Of
listening
course.
to them, but I mean, it's 100. We will do it. Did it 100%. No questions asked. That's what we do in the summer.
I love that. So again, parents, guardians, whomever, need to push through the discomfort of seeing,
Yeah.
observing, listening to their kids, possibly screaming.
Yes.
Because it is part of it.
Yes,
To be able
100%.
to save their lives.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yes.
You are a freaking rock star and a blessing. Like, you're incredible. And I know that you're the producer of this show, but in sitting with a bunch of these parents, I mean, whenever you watch the role, you'll see their gratitude. I want to hear your story, if you wouldn't mind sharing that as well, because for me, I would think that ISR would be in almost every community at this point, because it's something that has a high demand as people learn
Right.
more and more. Okay, you're not throwing your kid into the pool
No.
to scream and drown, even though that's kind of the conception of what
Right.
ISR is. And it drives me absolutely bonkers, because it saves lives. So you were at Kid Craddock in the morning.
I did that for 20 years.
20 years.
Yes.
And would you mind sharing the story that prompted this why for you to teach ISR in your life?
Yeah. So I
know I'm already over here.
No, it's okay. So I had a nephew, Ethan. And my sister and her husband had a home with a pool in the backyard. They had a fence, they had the locks, they had all of the things. And then one night, Ethan and his grandpa were in the backyard doing something. And somehow both of them ended up in the pool and fatally drowned. Both of them, yes. I don't know what happened. I don't know how they ended up in the water.
Could he swim?
I don't think so. I don't know. And so to say that getting that call was probably the worst moment of my life is an understatement. And telling you how horrific it was to walk into that hospital and see him lying there was awful. And it's one of those things. I think you and I have talked about, or we have talked about this a little bit, but the guilt that I feel with that is still really heavy. Because with the schedule that I had with the morning show, I picked him up many days a week. He was like a child to me.
Of course.
So it feels like I've lost a child. And with that, I feel like I should have had him in some kind of lessons. But I think I maybe had the mentality of that's not going to happen to us, or it just wasn't top of mind, or I don't know. I don't know what I was or wasn't thinking at that time. But now, as an ISR instructor, and knowing that a child as little as 6 months old is capable of saving their own life.
That's right.
If they're able to roll back and float. It's really heavy. It's really heavy. Knowing that there's absolutely something that could have been done. Possibly. I mean, you can never foolproof anybody, but you can definitely give them the tools that they need to do something instead of just leaving them helpless. And so that's why, because if I can do anything to save another family from feeling what I have felt from what my sister and her husband have felt, then I want to do that.
And so this happened to you, and how quickly after that was it that you decided that you wanted to become an ISR certified instructor?
It was a little bit. Unfortunately, he passed away on July 13th, 2011. And then I had some health stuff happen. So I needed to have that all taken care of. And I never even actually heard of ISR until my sister, they moved to Maui to kind of heal and got pregnant with my nephew Jake. And when they wanted to move back to Texas, she said, we are not doing it until we can get him into ISR lessons. And I was like, oh, I've never even heard of that. What is that? And so that was my first kind of like, oh, this is a thing? And then I would take him to his lessons every day because my schedule allowed me to do that. So then my relationship with Jake became much like my relationship with Ethan. I was picking him up pretty much every day. And so I was taking him to lessons and I was like, I could probably do that. And so it was 2017 when I got my certification to become an instructor. It's like a 6 week really intense college course.
Yeah.
You essentially do a session with what they call a master instructor,
Mm-hmm.
where you video every lesson, you do video reviews of every lesson, you do academics. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's really intense.
Yep. Well, Carrie said, I think that her 7-month-old, who probably couldn't walk at 7 months old,
Right.
Did ISR. I had no idea that you could do it at 6 months.
Yeah, as long as
As long
you're
as you could sit up.
right. If the child
core
is able
strength.
to sit up by themselves and stay that way for 1 minute unassisted, then they are able, and they're medically able
Yes, of
to do
course.
lessons.
Yep.
Then yes, they can start ISR.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Luke still wears a floater despite how he's done swim lessons for years.
Yeah.
And I've suggested many times, maybe he does ISR. Maybe he does ISR. Maybe we just ensure that he can swim near water because it terrifies me.
Anytime a parent asks me anything about that,
Uh-huh.
I always say, if you're not going to do lessons, don't put anything on them.
Uh-huh.
Don't put a puddle jumper on them. Don't put a floaty on them, because then that teaches them that I can be vertical in the water and maintain that.
Yeah.
And I think you saw the last video with my nephew.
Yep.
He was wearing a full body puddle jumper, essentially.
He was.
And that's not to say that he jumped in and thought that he could swim. We still don't know what happened, but I mean, that gives kids that false sense of hope,
Yep.
false sense of security.
Confidence. Exactly. That
Yeah,
false
false sense of
confidence.
security.
Yes.
And we don't want to give that to anybody.
Yep.
So, like, when parents, obviously right now it's the end of June, and kids or people are swimming and they're not fully skilled necessarily. So parents are like, what am I supposed to do with my kid right now? I'm like, carry them. Carry them. Give them that, at least give them that, I need to be with a parent when I'm
Yep.
in the pool
Yep.
sense of being, instead of, okay, I have nothing with me and I can do this.
Yep. What is the youngest student that you've had?
6 months.
6 months. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been doing this for how many years, Shannon?
I started in 2017, so eight years,
8 years.
8-ish, yeah.
I think this is remarkable. Do you do it during the winter months too?
Usually, yes.
Uh-huh.
I have an indoor facility.
pool?
Yeah. And so it has been a year-round thing for me.
Uh-huh.
It's gratifying. I love doing this.
Yes.
And it's something that with every child, you see where you start and where you end.
Yep.
So you see the natural progression.
Yep.
And it's really rewarding.
Yeah, this has been remarkable, and it's so sad making to me because, you know, as we sit with this pretty pool and this calming water behind us, it's something that could take someone's life.
Yeah.
It is terrifying because it can happen to anyone, regardless of socioeconomic space, of
Yeah.
where, who, how. We are all at risk of having our children drown
Yeah.
in North Texas and anywhere. But I appreciate you. Appreciate your time.
No, of course. Thank you for coming and watching.
No, this is, like I said, it's a cause that I'm passionate about because I do know that it takes so many lives. And thank you for sharing your story and your vulnerability.
No, thank you.
Okay. Love you, Shannon.
Love you.